This is a burn. Okay?
Oh, good.
Where the white of her face is where her face piece was, her air mask.
Thank you very much.
She got a first-degree burn here on the back of her neck and on her ear for being in this fire. All right? So this fire is not, or firefighting is not, you know, a safe job. It's a dangerous job. But she's okay. She's working today. She's fine. She healed up from it. All right? It's just that firefighting, when you look at it, you know, the glory, all you guys see on the news is this stuff. You don't see the other stuff that we do. The assistant calls, like Firefighter Close told you. We go and help people up off the floor, help them back into bed. We help parents who lock the kids in their car. All right? And it happens all the time. Floods. People's basements get flooded. We go and help them. Hazardous materials incidents. Hazmat calls. You know, you hear all that stuff. The Schenectady Fire Department is the hazmat team for Schenectady County. That's another thing that we do. Okay? So the fire department does a lot that people don't hear about. What you need to understand coming into this job, it's not just this. Okay? This is only about, believe it or not, 10 to 15% of what we do. The rest is EMS calls, station work. I don't know if you saw the guy, no, they weren't here this morning when he came in. But everybody's got housework. Every morning you come in, you have a chore to do. It could be cleaning the back hallway, it could be in washing the toilets. But every position has a job to do and clean it. You live here for 24 hours. We want it kept clean. That's your job. We have a guy who cooks. Each shift's got a guy who cooks, or they'll rotate cooks. His responsibility is to make sure lunch is on the table and dinner's on the table.
And he still has to go on all the calls.
And they still got to do calls in between.
He still has all his other responsibilities.
So while he's cooking, we may not eat lunch until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then dinner maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night. When we sit down to eat, if the bell hits, we don't finish dinner or finish eating. We get up and go. And we may not be back for a couple hours. So when you come back, what's on the table, if you want to finish it, it's up to you. If you throw it out, that's up to you. But that was your meal. It can be ice cold. Yeah, we have a microwave. You can nuke it back up, okay? So there's a lot to this job that people don't realize what really goes on. Actually, the four of us here, Captain Muslanka in the doorway is a captain in fire training. He oversees all equipment and maintenance. Also assists with fire training. Deputy Chief Gerfin is the Deputy Chief of Fire Training. He makes sure that all the fire training gets done. Captain Felici is the captain in charge of arson. And he's also, I believe, also helping out with the kids' stuff, the fire prevention.
Arson, fire investigation.
I'm in charge of EMS, doing EMS training. Also, I assist the Deputy Chief in fire training. Okay? So there's other, like Jimmy Close said, Firefighter Close said, there are other jobs in this department that have to get done. And there's a lot that you can go into here. All right?
I like to tell people that basically when somebody calls 911, if they're not calling to report a crime, it's a fire department job. Pretty much we do everything. And even if it is a crime, a lot of times it's a fire department job. If somebody's been hurt in that crime, we're there too.
You know, Firefighter Close told you we did almost 14,000 calls last year. Over 8,600 of them were EMS calls.
I believe
We did 500 structure fire calls last year. That's a lot. Schenectady firefighters see more fire than New York City firefighters because we're smaller.
So the percentage is greater.
The percentage is greater that we see. We see, our firemen see more fire than, what was the number, 85% or something?
95%.
95% of New York City firefighters. So when you see all these FDNY guys on the news and stuff standing around, that's down there. When you see us, we're working. Because we only show up with 9 to 11 people on the first alarm assignment. And on any given day, our minimum staffing level is only 18. Okay? So
One
when you
major
come to
fire.
work, you better be ready to work.
One major fire, everybody's working. Everybody, there's nobody left.
Do you have the envelope?
Firefighter Close has, handouts up here of what you should expect from this job and what you need to do. If you're interested in taking one,
Captain Mislenko, please call 5812. Captain Mislenko?
if you're interested in taking one, go ahead. It's got resumes, interview questions, whatever, planning for the fire department, civil service, test exam, sample questions. So there is information up here for you to take. I'm not gonna hand it out to you if you're gonna throw it out. Doesn't do any good in the garbage can. If you're interested, take it. If you're not, leave it there.
Now, as long as he's on that topic, Hudson Valley has a great program. I know you guys getting to the point in your lives where you gotta start thinking about what you wanna do after high school, college. Hudson Valley has a program, it's the EMS, what's his degree in? It's paramedic, it's a paramedic degree, become a paramedic, and it takes 2 years,
Right,
minimum 2
and
years to
again, you
complete.
go into your basic English and math classes, like your liberal art stuff, and then your second year, you do all your paramedic stuff.
You become an EMT, or basic emergency medical technician
So-
along the way, then you become a paramedic, and it takes a couple of years to complete.
And not just the fire service, if you want to become a paramedic, you don't have to become a firefighter. The town of Colony runs an EMS department, and all they do is EMS calls, medical calls, and paramedic calls. So you can try to apply into the town of Colony.
And in the meantime, if you're waiting to become a firefighter, because there's a waiting period, you take the test, there are jobs everywhere. This area is high demand for paramedics, everywhere in this area. Like you said, Colony, town of Rotterdam,
Mohawk Ambulance.
Mohawk Ambulance, they're always hiring. All of Saratoga County, Clifton Park, all the parts of Albany County, Rensselaer County, everybody's hiring paramedics now. And every year, the benefits seem to be getting a little better and better every year.
The one thing you need to know about becoming an EMT or paramedic, every 3 years you have to recertify. And there's 2 ways of doing it. One is you take a test again, and the other way is through continuing education. You come to classes all year long, and you have to have so many hours of training at the end of your 3 years, and you turn in your paperwork and you do it that way. All our guys on this job, I oversee that for 96 paramedics. I make sure all the paperwork's done, and that's how our people do their recertification. We recert through continuing ed. It's a little bit easier for us, and it works, but there are 2 different ways. But you have to understand, when you become a paramedic, even though you're on the fire department, you still have to recertify your certification every 3 years. If you lose your certification, you could lose your job. Okay? So,
How many of you guys know your guidance officer? Everybody know who your guidance counselor?
Guidance counselor?
Everybody know who that is? Who is it?
Ms. Hack.
Everybody know Ms. Hack?
Yeah.
You've got to get to know this woman have a great relationship with her. She is your key to financial success, with scholarships, with funding opportunities, to go to college. Everybody in this room can afford to go to college, whether you think you can or cannot. The guidance office has information for scholarships that are out there. Scholarships are not just for straight A students. Scholarships are for those kids who do community service, volunteers in your churches, volunteer in your school and your community. There are more scholarships for kids who do community service than there are academic. And again, we're talking about going to Hudson Valley and SCCC. Both of these colleges are very, very affordable if you work through some scholarshiping, if you work with your guidance office. All right, so just go bug her every day when you're walking by, when you got a free period. They have books and books of information of scholarships that are available, and you know what? They even have templates of scholarship applications that are already written for you. You just have to put your name in there. All right, so take
Financial aid,
advantage of that.
Financial aid information.
Absolutely. It's